Happy New Year to you all! It is finally time for me to make the first theory for this year. But sadly, we are not done with the topics from the last year, because after I made my latest theory, me and Yamis had a little discussion about the contents of that video. A big thanks to him for once again aiding me with these videos. You see, the thing is that in my latest theory video I talked about Yukari's strange quote about Kazen being on her side. I speculated that this may be a prelude for something big yet to happen, but now after a little bit of researching it appears that this is not the case. I have to admit that I was completely off track in my latest theory video when I talked about Yukari. There isn't any kind of proper allegiance going on, but instead it is more about politics, if you can call it that. So without prolonging this intro any longer, let's dig in. Okay, the most interesting thing about all of this is that the event where Yukari asks from Kazen that isn't she on her side isn't the first time this has happened. In the chapter 14 of Wild and Hornet Hermit, Yukari makes almost identical statement. Let me read it to you. Why? Why do all this to replace Zashiki Warashi? Kazen asks. Yukari responds, the humans don't need to know the answer for that, nor do the hermits. But I'll tell you. Zashiki Warashi, as you know, watch over the human village. In the other words, spy. When humans gather, they start thinking of doing bad things, so we need to watch over them to see that those kinds of people don't appear. To this Kazen replies by thinking half aloud, a chance you say. So could it be that the ultimate goal of a Youkai is to... But she doesn't get to finish her sentence when Yukari interrupts her by saying, don't think any further than that. After all, Gensokyo is getting enough food to fill the stomachs of all Youkai from somewhere. After that, Kazen asks, why are you telling me this? To which Yukari responds, with a bit surprised look on her face, oh, aren't you on our side? So many details, so little time. So let's start to dismantle the information we got. Okay, first things first. I'm telling straight away what I think Yukari means by that our side thing. I really strongly believe that she doesn't mean any allegiance, but instead the partition of humans and Youkai. And this is interesting, because according to Touhou Wiki, creatures like hermits and Lunarians are closer to humans than they are Youkai. So it could explain why Yukari mentioned why these things don't belong to hermits. But as we all know it, Kazen isn't a hermit, and so Yukari tells her all of this, and that's what Yukari means when she says that Kazen is on her side. Kazen isn't a hermit. But so what? This isn't interesting at all, and you're right, this is technically just the same information as in my last Touhou theory, and it just told in a bit different way. But it gets interesting when you start to pay attention to the topic that they were talking about when Yukari brings that sighting thing up. They were talking about how Gensokyo gets its food. So in the other words, Yukari gaps humans into Gensokyo. This is called spiriting away. And in that other occasion, many chapters later, when Yukari once again says to Kazen that she is on her side, is just after she had explained the spiriting away to Kazen. I'm sensing a pattern here. And then, do you remember what is the main reason behind the spiriting away? To get enough food for the Youkai of Gensokyo. The spiriting away officially started back in the late 90s, when the Devil's contract was settled. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that Yukari is referring to that exact contract when talking to Kazen, and I believe that it's that exact contract that makes humans and Youkai so distant from each other. Okay, before I move forward, I may have to explain what we know about the Devil's contract. The contract was a result of a vampire incident, where a vampire, most likely Remilia, gathered some allies and proceeded to go on a rampage. Yukari stopped her, and the Devil's contract was settled. The contract prohibits the Youkai of Gensokyo from attacking the humans of Gensokyo, and in exchange, Yukari started to gap humans from the outside world for Youkai to eat them. It is also said that the terms set in the contract are unconditional, meaning that no Youkai can break them. But here's the thing, it may not be so absolute as we think it is, because we have seen occasions where a Youkai attacks native human against Sokyo. It appears that even when the contract is made, there still are a few occasions every now and then when Youkai try to attack and even eat the native human against Sokyo. This makes it hard to determine how strict the terms of that contract are, and please keep in mind that the contract prohibits only Youkai attacking humans, not humans attacking one another. Okay, now you know what the Devil's Contract is. The contract eventually led to the establishment of the spellcard rules. But have you ever thought that was Reimu or any other human even aware of this contract when the spellcard rules were established? I mean, no human has ever mentioned it in any way as far as I know. Could it be that only Youkai know about the existence of this contract? If so, then it would explain why Yukari says that no humans or hermits should know about these things. But now you're allowed to ask, how is the Zashiki Warashi incident related to this? Well, this is a bit far stretch, but bear with me. As you may know, the existence of Youkai is dependent on humans, so it is natural for them to, let's say, restrict themselves from eating them all. It makes sense. But then again, it seems that the humans of Gensokyo were enough to keep the Youkai of Gensokyo fed before Yukari started to gap humans from the outside world. No. That's definitely not the case. Since the human village of Gensokyo isn't too big, consisting maybe 1,000 humans at the most, there's no way that small amount of humans could keep the whole Youkai population of Gensokyo fed and not go extinct. I'm also 100% sure that Yukari gapped people into Gensokyo way before the Devil's Contract. It was after the contract when the harming of the native humans of Gensokyo was prohibited and Gensokyo's Youkai became dependent on the humans brought by Yukari from the outside world. And this brings us to the Zashiki Warashi incident we were talking about. Yukari mentions how when humans gather in one place, they start to think about doing bad things. Zashiki Warashi are said to be spies to inform Yukari to prevent this from happening. But now ask yourself, what kind of bad things Yukari meant by this? This thing is also connected to that ultimate goal of a Youkai that Cousin mentioned. I don't think that by bad things Yukari meant that humans would start attacking Youkai, but rather themselves. I think that by preventing those kinds of people from appearing, Yukari means that they are trying to protect the humans from each other rather than Youkai from the humans. And this brings us to the ultimate goal of a Youkai. Think about it. Yukari tries to remove humans with bad intentions from the society. And how would she do this? By feeding them to Youkai. This is why Devil's Contract seems so lax. When problem human is found, Yukari gives an order for Youkai to dispose of it. But these humans are not enough to keep the Youkai fed. So she has to gap humans from the outside world to be eaten. But she can't possibly make sure each time what kind of people she gaps in. But now, when Zashiki Warashi got requests from the outside world, Yukari saw this as an opportunity to chase that ultimate goal of a Youkai. And that goal is to cleanse the human race, not eat them, but keep them from destroying themselves. But Zashiki Warashi, being in the outside world, gives Yukari an opportunity to make sure that she gaps only right kind of people into Gensokyo to be eaten. People who are trouble for the society. It is clear that if this truly is the ultimate goal of a Youkai Yukari is talking about, most other Youkai have forgotten it, since it seems to be new information even for Kase. Maybe Devil's Contract is Yukari's way to make sure that Youkai don't act against this goal, even if most of them aren't even aware of this so-called goal. And when it comes to humans, it is natural for keep this kind of a thing a secret. If this were to be common knowledge, humans would start to act much more carefully, making it harder for Yukari or any of her spies to notice a possible threat. Hold on a second. I have to push my past self aside for a moment, because when I had just edited this video for the first time, I remembered something interesting. In the chapters 36 and 37 of Forbidden Scrollery, we may possibly have some sort of a human disposing going on. I'm not sure, but it is one possibility. You see, in these chapters there was a wealthy owner of a mansion who started to behave strange. No one knew what happened to him exactly. The events proceed, and in the end it turned out to be a Yukai's doing. A Youkai called Umatsuki took control of that man. The man was beyond saving, and so in the end the man and Youkai had to be exterminated. But here's the thing. This was a Youkai just boldly attacking human of the human village. Even Mamizo admits that it was a pretty bold move, since she too was investigating the situation by herself, while Reimu and Marisa did so too. Something like this should be a huge incident. If Reimu or any other human were to know about the devil's contract. If humans don't know about this prohibition for Youkai to eat them, then it may be seen just as a circle of life and as a thing that Youkai do. But if the things that I have said earlier are true, then there is a chance that this Umatsuki may be sent by Yukari to take care of a possible problem human. But one thing that you should note is that in the manga it is said that the person who was taken over by the Youkai was a nice person. But then again, we can't say for sure if the person actually was a good person, or was he hiding something, since characters having darker secrets in Touhou franchise isn't too rare. But one more thing till I give my past self a spotlight again. The way the man got disposed wasn't really a way I thought it would be, because the man wasn't eaten by Youkai, but instead taken over by one until Reimu noticed this and exterminated it, and the man along with it. And I gotta say that if this truly is something controlled by Yukari, this is much more cleaner way to dispose of a problem human than getting the Youkai to actually eat it. It could be that Yukari disposes humans only with this method, or this is just one of the many methods she may use. And just one little detail more. This is actually the first time ever when we have had a character straight up dying, and it was also mentioned directly. And what was the most fascinating thing about this was that the character was killed by Reimu. Forget about Marisa having a few darker secrets in her pocket. Reimu won't even hide about killing you. Well, technically she did, since the death of that man was explained to the villagers with a disease, but still, to think that Reimu, out of our characters, would be the first one to open her kill count officially. That's a pretty dark turn of events, but I think that I have covered all the details I have found from Forbidden Scrollery, so now I let my past self to continue in peace. And now, when I think about it, this fits quite well that possible scenario where Rumia's powers were sealed away, I mentioned in my Rumia theory. Rumia, seeing that her job should be eating humans, is, well, quite serious matter for Ken Sokyo, considering the things we talked about in this video. And if you remember my medicine theory, you might know that medicine's goals don't differ a lot from Rumia's. Just give her a few hundred years and we might have a new Rumia in our hands that needs to be sealed away. But this has been somewhat of an explanation and correction to my recent theory video I made, and now it's your turn to tell me what do you think about it. I may have gotten the ultimate goal of a Youkai to sound something quite insignificant, but trust me, if this turns out to be true, it would be a huge quantum leap for Touhou lore. But just like you would expect, these things said on a video are not canon and they are just speculations, but I truly hope that if even one of my theories is true, it would be this one. for it backs up so many other theories we've had so far. I'd also like to remind you that if you have any theory ideas, please leave them into the comment section down below. I'd be happy to hear them. But for now, I have to bid you a farewell. My name's Touhou, and we'll see in the next video.